Hello friends, welcome to the first edition of Ask a Question series brought to you by dataplatformcenter.com. Ask a Question series is a series of videos where you can ask very simple questions related to Power BI and Azure related technologies. And we will be presenting you with a short video explaining how that particular scenario can be handled. So in this first edition, we are going to see a very quick Power BI tip, which is how you can convert an offset value which is available inside your Power BI dataset to a time-based value. And this question has been asked by the user Madesh. So let's go straight into the scenario which Madesh has provided us. The scenario is that I have an offset column with numerical values which represents the time offset in seconds. I need the value to be represented in time format, that is hour, colon, minutes, colon, seconds. How can I achieve this inside Power BI? DAX or Power Query based solution would be fine. So this is the question that we have on hand, and this is a common scenario which you come across whenever you are working with some scenarios which requires capturing duration. So generally, if you see the data that comes from databases, they will use the concept of offset values for representing the durations, like how many hours a particular person put in for job, for example, or maybe how many hours a particular process has been continuing. These are some scenarios where we make use of this offset based logic. And once you have such data coming from your source inside Power BI, how can you convert them into a proper time-based data? This is the question, and he has asked that whether it is possible to do it in DAX or Power Query. So we will look at both aspects. First, we will look at how it can be done inside Power Query, and then we will look at how it can be done inside DAX. So let's go straight into the illustration. So to illustrate this, we have a Power BI sheet with a single column table which consists of offset data. So let's see how we can convert this offset into corresponding time-based value. So to start off, we need to add a new column inside which we can apply the required logic to convert these offset into corresponding time values. So let's go to the add column, and we are going to add a custom column for that, and we are going to name it time data. So here, since we have an offset on hand, there is a corresponding data type which is available inside Power Query, which makes our job much easier to do this in Power Query. And that data type is called the duration data type. So we can have a duration based value, and it is initialized by using hash duration function. And it consists of 4 arguments. The first argument will represent the day part. Second argument will represent the hour part. Third argument will represent the minute part, and fourth argument will represent the seconds part. And what we have inside offset is the second part. So when we can define a duration variable which can hold the corresponding value which is coming from offset. Since offset contains the seconds part, we will be passing offset for the seconds argument, and all the other arguments will be 0 because we don't have any other parts coming from any fields. Now once we define this, automatically the offset that is there in our current column will get converted into the duration equivalent. Now all that we need to do is, like, because duration is a datetime based type of data type, you can directly have arithmetical operations between time data type and duration data type. So now because we have this duration data type on hand, all we need to do is, like, we can initialize a time variable which is starting from a 0 value, and time variable will have 3 parts, which is hour, minute and seconds. So we will have 000, which is the initialized time part, which corresponds to 12 midnight, or 00:00:00. That's a time corresponding to the initialized time variable, and we will add this duration to that. So what will happen is that eventually we will get the duration value being added to the time value, and we'll get the resultant time value. So once you click on OK, we'll have the new column with the corresponding time values. Now if you see that we have already got the result, but the format that it stores it is like 12 AM, 12:05 AM, 12:25 AM, 12:59 AM, etc. But we want it in HHMM/SS format. So all we need to do is, like, we can save this change, and once we come back to the inside the data view, we can apply the corresponding format. So what we can do is, like, go to file, close and apply, so that this new table will get added to the model with this additional calculated column, which is going to convert the offset value to the corresponding time data. and then we are going to apply the correct format to the time data to get the result in the format we want. So now that the table is being loaded to the model, we can go inside the data view, and now we can select the time data, and we need to first set the data type to time. And when it's asked that does the data conversion needs to be done, just click on OK. So it will convert to time data, and then we have the format on the top where we can select HH, NN, SS. Once we select the format, automatically it will get converted to the corresponding format. Now if you see the offset and the corresponding time data, you will get the correct. So 59 seconds means it will be represented as 000059, and similarly 1200 means it's actually 20 minutes because it's 20 into 60, so 002000. And even 4356 means the 3600 is 1 hour, so that is 1 hour. Then we have around 12 minutes and then 36 seconds. So 12 minutes means 12 into 60, which is 720. So 3600 plus 720, which is 4320, plus 36, which is 4356. So if you see the value and their corresponding time data, you can see that both of them are equivalent. So this is one method of converting an offset value to the corresponding time part, and this is the easiest way in which you can do it by defining a duration variable which holds the offset part and then adding it to a initialized time variable, and then just applying the required format. We are able to convert the offset value to the corresponding time part, and all this is done inside Power Query, and only the format is changed once we get to the data view inside our Power BI model. Now let's see how the same thing can be done inside Power BI model by using DAX formulas. To use the DAX formula for achieving the same result, let's start by clicking on new column so as to create the new column for holding the time equivalent, and we are going to name the column as time data underscore DAX to indicate that this column has been calculated using DAX measures, and the DAX functions or the DAX calculation will look like this. So what we have here is like we have three variables, underscore hour, underscore minute, and underscore second, to get the hour, minute, and second part from this available offset data. And it's simple math logic that we'll be applying here. So for getting the hour part, we'll be dividing it by 3600. As you know that 3600 seconds will make a hour, and we have what we have on hand is a seconds related offset value. So once we divide it, we will get what will be the number of hours that will be contained inside our offset value, and then we will take the floor of that to make sure that we are not, suppose we are getting it like 1.5 or something like that, because once you do the divide, you will get the result in decimal number. So we should not round it to the next possible integer. We should take the least integer or the floor of that particular value. So that's why we apply floor on top of that. So if it is 1.5, we take 1 hour as the result. That means that gives us the completed hours within that seconds value. So that we will store inside a variable called hour, and similarly for the minute, we will be taking the mode of this 3600 operation. So that means that will give us the remaining part once we have divided by 3600, and that will contain minutes and seconds, out of which to get the minute we will again divide it by 60, because 60 seconds makes a minute. Again here also we need to apply the same rounding, so we will apply floor on top of it so that we will get the least value out of it, least integer value. If it is like 3.85, even still we should take it as 3 minutes, because that's the completed minute. So for getting the completed part out of it, we apply the floor, so that will give us the completed minutes, and whatever remaining would be the second, and that is got by just taking the modulo operator with 60. So whatever remainder comes in, that will be the seconds part. And once we have the hour, minute, and the seconds part, then we can have, there is a function called time function which can be used for returning a time based value, and which will accept 3 arguments: hour, minute, and second. We will pass the hour value, the minute value, and the second value to that, and all these will be pre-calculated inside the variables. And once you execute this, you will see that you will get a corresponding value in date time format by default. So now again, if you see the last part, it will represent the offset correctly. Now if you want to get it in the format we want, first thing we need to do is like we need to go to the column tools and change the data type to time. And once we convert it into time, and once we change the format to HH, NN, SS, we'll get again the value in the same format. So if you compare the value that you got in time data versus the time data underscore DAX, both of them will have the same values. So this is how you do it in DAX. So in DAX, what you need to do is like you need to apply a mathematical logic so as to strip out the hour part, minute part, and the seconds part from within the overall offset value. And this is done by dividing by 3600 for hours and divide by 60 for minutes, and for seconds you just take the remainder. That's it. Hope this quick video showed how you can convert an offset value to corresponding time equivalent using Power Query functions as well as using DAX functions. This is a logic that you can use within your Power BI model so as to achieve similar requirements. As usual, keep sending your feedback and subscribe to my videos and click on bell icon for getting notifications. If you want your questions to be featured in Ask a Question series, you can drop a mail to ask.question@dataplatformcentral.com. Meet you all soon with another useful tip like this. Till then, bye.